We learned about the uniqueness of the date and time format in the data format class. Date and time are commonly calculated in many circumstances. This lesson will go through the features and applications of dates and times. Let's get started. Dates and time are just integers that can be computed and can convert to each other. When the number 1 is set as the dates format, the result is 1900/1/1. Similarly, number 2 will appear as 1900/1/2. A day equals 24 hours in time conversion. Hence, the number 1 represents 24 hours. 0.5 represents 12 hours, and 0.25 represents 6 hours. Days and hours have conversion rules, while months and years do not. A month may contain 30 or 31 days, while a year can have 365 or 366 days. Do you know how to represent the month appropriately in the function formula? We'll demonstrate it with a simple example. This is an order record sheet that contains information such as the date, product, concluded orders, and canceled orders. What should we do to check how many orders were completed in March? To count the cells that meet the conditions, we can use the countifs function we learned earlier. Enter equals countifs in the cell and press the tab key. We want to count the number of data in March, so we select B3 through B18 in the first parameter that contains the dates and then enter greater than and in parentheses equals 01/03/2022 in the second parameter. What does this mean? The month cannot be represented simply by numbers in the function's logic. March is defined as the period from March 1st to March 31st. To describe the month of March accurately, we must divide it into two conditions. Greater than equals 01/03/2022 and less than equals 31/03/2022. Let's continue to enter the second set of conditions. Select B3 through B18 again and enter less than equals 31/03/2022. Can you get that? Finally, enter the third set of conditions. Select cell F3 through F18 and enter yes. Press the enter key and we learn that March has 4 transactions. There are many formulas for dates and times. If I want to know the current date, I can use the shortcut Control semicolon or enter to insert the today function, which has no parameters. The shortcuts Control Shift semicolon can help us get the current time, or we could press the enter key to use the now function, and the parameter is also unnecessary. All of these ways can ensure that our formats are correct. However, the dates and times are not the same. The shortcuts will bring you fixed dates and times. If you want the updated dates and times, please use the functions. Every time you press F9, the now function will help you update the most recent time. This holds true for the today function. Next, I'll tell you several functions to extract time and dates. They are very simple to use, as you only need to select the dates to extract. For example, the year, month, and day function can extract the year and month and day in dates respectively. Similarly, the hour, minute, and second functions can extract the hour, minute, and second in the time, respectively. We have the ability to extract as well as group time and dates. The date function allows you to group year, month, and day together. The arguments are simple, as you only need to select the year, month, and day and press enter. When it comes to grouping time, the rule is the same. Select hour, minute, and second and press enter. Once you grasp these functions, it'll be much easier to handle the functions containing a year or month. Do you remember the previous case that required us to calculate the number of orders in March? First, insert a column next to the date column and enter equals month. Then select cell B3 and press enter. Drop down the cell to fill the remaining data and apply the general format to them. Number 3 means the orders in March. By doing so, we simplify the conditions. Enter the formula equals countifs, left parenthesis, C3 through C18, comma 3, comma F3 through F18, comma yes in quotation marks, right parenthesis. Press enter to get the correct result. An auxiliary column can always help us solve the problem quicker. We often need to calculate dates in the workplace. For example, HR often needs to calculate employees' length of service. Repeated calculations are difficult since the data changes in real time. Functions can assist us in obtaining the most recent data and, as a result, enhance efficiency. Let's look at the employee information sheet. We can replace the preset dates with the today function. Dates are simple to compute because they are simply numbers. We can subtract the entry time from the current date to get the interval. The length of service is generally counted in years. But we can't divide the date by 365 since each year has a different number of days. We can now solve the difficulties above by utilizing the dated if function, which is used to calculate the number of days, months, or years between two dates. Its syntax is start date, end date, unit. We enter equals date if in the cell. The first parameter is the start date. The entry date is input here, which is cell E4. The second parameter is the end date, and we select the current date, which is cell F4. You can freely choose what type of dates to return in the third parameter. Just like the substitute function, the dated if function has its own code. For example, entering Y will return the result by year. Entering M will return by month, and D will return by day. We enter Y in quotation marks and press enter, and William's length of service is 1 year. William was hired on June 8, 2020, which is more than a year past. This function may only return integers, so it'll only return 1 if it's less than 2 years old, and will not return decimals like 1.5. What if we want to know the exact number of his length of service? Can we get it? Of course we can. There are 3 special codes for this function, namely YD, MD, and YM. What do these formats mean? To help you understand what we're talking about, we'll give you an example. Suppose the start date is February 10th, 2020, and the end date is March 20th, 2022. Obviously, their interval is 2 years, 1 month, and 10 days. Typing MD will extract days rather than years and months. Therefore, it'll return 10. MD will extract months rather than years and days. Therefore, it'll return 1. YD will extract years rather than months and days, resulting in a total of 39 days. 3 days in an extra month plus 10 days. Now, you might know how many years, months, and days William has worked. To know how long William worked for the company, we only need to get the numbers using Y, YM, and MD. And the result is 1 year, 10 months, and 13 days. Next, let's look at 2 functions about working days. The first one is the net work days function. It can calculate the intervals between 2 dates in the same way as the dated if function, but net work days excludes weekends and solely calculate working days. Enter equals net work days in the cell and enter the start date in the first parameter and the end date in the second parameter. The third parameter can be left blank, so Saturday and Sunday will be excluded by default. Then, we will know there are 22 working days between the 2 dates. If you specify the dates in the third parameter, the entered dates will be deducted along with Saturday and Sunday. For example, the Indonesian Eid al-Fitr is on Monday and Tuesday on May 2nd and 3rd, 2022. Put them in the third parameter and the working dates become 20. The workday function works in a reverse order. It returns the end date according to the start date and the number of your working dates. For instance, if my project takes 2022 working days to finish, I'd like to know the exact dates. Enter equals workday in the cell and put the start date in the first parameter, 2022, in the second parameter, and leave the third parameter blank. and WPS will take Saturday and Sunday as holidays. Finally, hit Enter. Saturday and Sunday are not included. This sheet keeps track of when employees clock in and out. Employees are required to clock in at 8 a.m. and clock out at 6 p.m. They have to work 8 hours per day with a 2-hour lunch break. We need to check whether each employee has worked enough time. We can calculate the time with standard format because the essence of time is numbers. We subtract the clock in time straight from the clock out time, and then subtract the 2-hour lunch break. Don't forget quote marks. Press Enter to get the working hour. The number is calculated by day. When day contains 24 hours, we can wrap the data in brackets and multiply it by 24 to get the result in hours. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. If we want to get the result in minutes, we can multiply the above result by 60. Similarly, we can also multiply the result by 3,600 because 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. This way, you'll understand how to convert between numbers. In this lesson, we learned several functions about time and date. The year, month, day, hour, minute, and second functions are used to extract dates and time. The today and now functions can return the current date and time. DateIf can compute the number of days between two dates by year, month, and day. The net workdays and workday functions can be used to compute the number of working days between two dates. In addition, we have learned several methods for time conversion. In the next lesson, I will teach you a lookup function that would come in handy when you need it. Stay tuned.